and welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to go through some bad property deals that have been presented to me. Whether it's a bad deal, whether a BA presented it, I reviewed them and I decided it's not the best deal to go ahead with. And I wanted to break it down for you guys. And the first one here is 8 Chestnut Road in Youngtown in Tasmania. This one was asking price at $565,000. And when you look at the property, it actually looks very good on surface level, decent interior, definitely sort of dated, could have a potential cosmetic uplift in the future, and it looks like it has really good bones, and you can see a slight slope in the building, but that is something to expect in Tasmania with all its hilly landscapes and all that good stuff. But the one thing that you will notice if you do have a keen eye is this tower here. This high transmission line electrical tower, which is a problem, right? Number one, they do carry a bit of a stigma. And when you look at this property, you can actually go into Google and you can actually measure how far it's away from your property. And you can see it's about 60 meters away from your property, which is going to be a bit of an issue. And all you have to do is search up high transmission line stigma, and you can actually start to do a bit of research into it. Now, whether or not the impacts of it are real in terms of health concerns, there is a natural stigma for people to stay away from properties with high transmission lines. And this is a bit of a concern for us because it can affect the value of the property. Now, it may or may not, but when you go to the bank, some banks actually don't lend up to the maximum value because of this high transmission line, and they deem it as high risk. Now, it's only certain lenders, and you need to discuss with your mortgage broker about the type of lenders that can and will give the complete loan for the property. But I know for a fact someone has already been impacted by the fact that the bank won't lend enough money for this transmission line being so close. So when you're looking at a property and there is a high transmission line very close to the property, please be careful because it may not be seen as having the same value as in the eyes of the bank. So watch out. And so that's property number one. Let's have a look at another one. Now this one is also in Tasmania, and it's something that I wanted to show you guys in Tasmania in Riverside. 7250, best offer over 595. And when you look at this property, once again, it looks lovely. Great interior, looks very modern, a brick house. It looks stellar, right? And there's a bit of a hill once again, but again, that's a trade-off. But in this image, you can see the big problem. There's an electrical substation here and more electrical lines. This is something that I would stay absolutely away from. For example, this one only had one transmission line, but this one, it has a whole ass substation. This is something I would 100% stay away from. It will affect your property value. It may take even longer to sell. In fact, let's do this. Let's just search up this property and we go to the property.com and we start to scroll down. We can actually see this property has been on the market since March, and I'm recording this video at the end of July. So this property has now been on the market for over or close to 4 months. That's not good. All right. So this electrical substation, any electrical power lines, transmission lines, is something you really want to be staying away from because it carries a natural stigma. It can affect your property value. It can take longer to sell. It could affect finding a new buyer or even a tenant. So you want to make sure you stay away from this. It's always about minimizing the risk, and this is a risk you don't want to take. And listen, if you want to make sure you avoid bad property deals like this, or if you have a buyer's agent showing you a property that you're unsure of, join the private community because I will be able to vet your deal. I'll be able to look at the property and give you my thoughts and my opinion and any red flags that may come up. It's literally $35 a month, and when you're buying a $500,000 to $1 million asset, it's an absolute no-brainer to be part of this community. There's over 300 members, guys, all helping each other out. It is an amazing option if you are looking to invest into Australian property, so make sure you jump in right this second. Let's get back into the video. So what's the next property I want to show you? I want to show you this one here, 1 Umbana Court, Ascot, Victoria 3551. Now I've actually had a BA show one of the community members this property, and this member actually reached out to me and said, hey, what do you think about this property? And I said, hell no. And the reason I said that is because when you start to look at the property address of this, I'm not going to even show you the images because this is just a straight red flag for me. This property is right next to a railway station. Like, why would anyone buy this? Like, tell me right now, how does this make any sense to buy this property? It's right next to the railway station. It makes absolutely no sense to buy a property that is simply, I would say, 50 meters meters away from the railway station. In fact, let's have a look right now. It's 40 meters or 49.33 meters away from your property. This will impact your property value. It will take longer to sell. Less buyers are going to be interested in buying this property because it's so close to the station, right? Not only that, you'll have constant trains going by. So that will add to noise pollution as well as air pollution. The brake dust off the train will affect your kids or your parents, etc., right? So when you're investing in property, simple things like this are a concern. These are a red flag. In fact, even if the property was over here, I would be a little bit concerned. Now, at least it's a street away and it's facing the other way, but this is still a bit of an issue, right? When I'm about 100 meters or 50 meters within a railway station, I would be avoiding these properties. For me, all these properties on this side will be an absolute red flag. I wouldn't touch these with a 10-foot pole. It's not worth it in my opinion. And if a BA sells you these type of deals, please run away. It's not worth it. Let's go to another one. Now, this one was actually shown to me by a community member, not a BA, but I just thought I would share my opinions on this property. Now, once again, you can see it's a nice, lovely property, brick house. Definitely did a bit of a dated interior, but nothing too bad for under $500,000, right? It's in Churchill, Victoria, a market that's kind of become quite hot in recent times. But this is sort of the properties that I would be avoiding. Now, but those of you who've been watching my videos actually know that I don't like buying properties in T-junctions, and this is an example of one that I would be avoiding, quite simply. And the reason is that it's right in the pathway of a T-junction, and this map has perfectly shown why I hate it. You can see a bus right there, and it is in the pathway of this house. Now, we've seen countless times before where a bus has gone straight through a house on a T-junction. I would be avoiding this. And yes, before you say it, I can see a speed bump there, I know. But even then, I would not be buying properties on T-junctions. It is not worth it in my opinion. It doesn't take much for a fast-moving car or a bus to go straight through that house. It is a bit of a red flag for me. The only instances where I consider T-junctions is when it's a quiet no-through road like this one over here, where there is no heavy traffic going to be coming in and out. It's only going to be quite a few number of residential cars. Of course, the risk is still going to be there, but it's much less riskier than buying a house with a road that has buses coming in and out of it. So for me, that is something I would personally avoid. And it's the same thing I communicated to that member, and it's up to him whether or not he wanted to proceed ahead with the deal, right? But this is something that I would be avoiding, quite frankly. And I honestly believe any person looking to buy a property as an owner-occupier would not really want to live in the pathway of a heavy moving bus, right? It is going to draw in less people. It is going to be a deterring factor when someone's looking to buy a property. It may even turn away some people. So this is something you need to consider when buying properties. So I hope this video has helped actually showcase some of the bad property deals that have come through my way that I would generally just say stay away from. They are red flags, like the substation, like the T-junction, like the railway station. It happens all too often that people buy these properties, or they get buyers agents to buy these properties, or they get pushed these deals. You need to be avoiding them. You need to be buying the right asset, especially when you're spending $500,000 to $1 million buying an investment. It is not a joke. Do it properly and do it right. Join the private community. We'll help you out. We'll get you the right deal on the right property and the right asset, and we'll help you along your way. Till next time, thank you very much.